Oh, I do love Lanzarote, me. Look at that. Human fire. Never seen it. It's quiet, but I guess it's New Year's. But yeah, this video is going to be about my year of 2022. Hope you enjoy it. And I'm currently dying at Human Fire. And I'm only 30 minutes into this 3-hour ride. Lovely stuff. Let's get it. To the YouTube channel.
Like a boss.
So, this is my 2022 season recap. Obviously, most of you know that I didn't have the best of years during, for my triathlon season, I guess. But yeah, let's start off through the winter kind of months. So January to March. So we started off with a volcano triathlon in February, which was Olympic distance. It went pretty well. I had an average swim of 19 minutes. Came out with the front group. Pretty average bike and average bike. It was 42k, and obviously all the other bikes were on TT bikes, so it was kind of depressing with all those bikes going past me. I took that into consideration, knowing that if I did it this year now, 2023, I would either put aero bars on my road bike or I did it on a TT bike. And then obviously on the run, I had stomach cramps, so that went pretty bad. I had to keep walking for a bit, but managed to finish the race. And not the best of days, but I was glad to get it done. And that was my first Olympic race of the year. So yeah, then we moved on to April, and I started racing in the UK. So that meant I started off with performance assessments, where technically it was to qualify for the Super Series in the UK, where you go and race the best in the UK, so that was pretty good. And then it went pretty well for performance assessments. The swim was alright, but missed the front group on the bike, which was kind of annoying, but I had pretty slow transitions, and I took that into consideration as well. I needed to work on that and get them pretty fast. And then I had a really good run of 17 minutes, so I was happy with that. Running off the bike, and then May was kind of I would say a learning curve of a month. Shortly a month after that race, my first BUCS race of the year. For those of you who know, that BUCS is just where all the universities come together and they race around the UK or do sports around the UK and compete against each other. So yeah, onto the race. It was a sprint distance, so although the swim was 400 metres, the bike was 22 and the run was 5k. Good swim, good bike, needed to work on my run a bit, and as I haven't been running during up to that week due to a bit of a niggle in my hip. But yeah, the race went pretty well. Took into consideration my swim and bike, that's improved. And then it's where everything kind of went downhill the next day. I felt pain in my hip and I was a bit cautious of what was going on, and I took a few days off of running and then started running again. My first run around the track, which was pretty painful, but we'll get onto that in a bit. So moving on to June, this is where disaster struck. I didn't think much of the pain in my hip, so I just kept training as normal until one night at the track. It was a pretty grim session, I can remember it. And I couldn't walk after that run. So yeah, it was pretty disappointing that I had that pain still there. And then shortly after that, I decided to go and get an MRI scan on my hip. And then a week later, I got the bad news of that I had a stress fracture, and this is where everything went downhill for me. I just didn't feel like myself and went through, I guess, a bit of a dark space in my life where I've never really experienced a fracture in my hip, and I was kind of off of running for 6 months and off of racing, that meant. But I stopped feeling sorry for myself and thought, you know what, I could improve on my swim, and that's what I did. I just focused on my swim, and luckily, obviously in triathlon you've got 3 sports, and I mostly worked on my swim. Great PBs, and I just felt happier through doing that. And this is where we get on to the July month, which is during my birthday. So the 1st of July is technically my 19th birthday, but during July I'm mostly focused on improving my swim, and it paid off quite a lot. I'll tell you a bit of my swim kind of progress. So before leaving Loughborough, I went to focus on a 1500 metre freestyle PB, and this is where in the space of 3 months I went from doing an 18:30 to an 18:11.
Muchas gracias, afición. Este para vosotros.
So that's a really, I guess, kind of good PB. It's around 19 seconds, I think. Also going from a 440 400 to a 436, which I was really happy about, as I didn't think I had that in me, as usually I fade the last 100 in a 400, but happy to get that.
His name is John C.
And then luckily there was a few 5Ks here in Lanzarote and in the UK, mentioning a few like Outlaw 5K Swim, a few of the ones in Playa Blanca. I was thinking of doing the swim from Lanzarote to Fuerteventura, but unfortunately I was a bit too late to enter that. But yeah, I was happy to get a few podiums as well in the 5K. In the Outlaw one I won my age group, came second overall. In the one in Playa Blanca I came third overall and first in my category, so really happy with that. Swimming's been paying off, so that was good. And then moving on to August, I was back running, which made me really happy. I signed up for my first triathlon post-injury, and I just was so glad to be back racing. Like I couldn't describe the emotion of just being back on a start line, and just seeing some familiar faces, and yeah, it was great. I had a great swim, come out with the front pack as the swims have been paying off. Got onto the bike, and on the second lap I had a bit of a gap, so I thought, let's go, I'll push it. And then unfortunately, after the second lap, on a corner on the bike, obviously, I didn't see some gravel, and I went down.
My grandmother had wheels, she would have been a bike. You know what?
Took me some time to get back up, probably like 10 minutes. I saw my dad. A bit emotional, obviously. You see your dad and it's like, oh, bloody hell. Here we go. But anyway, moved on and got on the bike, which just went easy for, I think I had 3 laps left. And yeah, got off the bike, couldn't really walk properly as I fell on my right hip quite hard, and that's where my injury was, so a bit cautious again. But the pain went as soon as I started jogging, and I actually ran a 20-minute flat 5K, and this was with no really real run training. So I was really surprised. I spoke to coach after the race, and he's like, wow, just imagine if you actually did some run training, and maybe you'd be winning these races. So I was happy with that, and just glad to finish, I guess. Moving on to September, which is kind of where winter starts again. I went back to Loughborough to study again, and I had 1 race left before that, and this was in Eton Dorney, my first ever Super Series race, which I was really excited about. It was more like a Super League format, so it was, you did a swim, bike, run like Super Sprint, which was, so you did a heat in the morning, and whatever you came in that heat, you would qualify for different types of finals. So it was the A final, B final, C final, D final, E final. And so I went pretty well in the heat. I got into the A final, which I was really happy about. I thought, wow, I'm in the mix with the best guys in the UK. And then shortly after, in the afternoon, we did some finals. The first final was pretty grim. I went to the wrong transition, which isn't the best thing to do, I guess. And I missed the front pack, so I just rode by myself and got ready for the next race, and I went down to the B final. So I got ready for the B final. Same happened again, unfortunately. Missed the pack. Had a good swim though on all of them, just missed that pack. So then on the last one I went down to the C final, and this is where everything went to plan. And yeah, I finished 14th junior, I think, and around 20th overall. So yeah, pretty happy with that. Then moving on to like more of a winter month where it starts to get colder in the UK, October, December. Winters was coming, I guess, in the UK, and just kept training throughout. A few tough weeks in the wet, cold, but really enjoyable, I guess. But training with the Loughborough Triathlon squad made it a lot easier. Obviously, there's like 21, 23 of us, so that's really nice to be training with a squad like that who's, if not better than me or the same ability. And then after that, had a few races left before the new year, and the first one was Bucks Duathlon. It was actually bloody cold on that day, and it started raining before the race, so yeah, I didn't really enjoy the race. I guess maybe I didn't warm up properly, but just didn't really enjoy it. And I mean, the run was horrible, the bike was horrible, it was wet, cold, I was shivering before the race, I was shivering after the race. I had a bit of a cold a week prior, but just wanted to say well done to all the Loughborough triathlon athletes who did really well, some of them, and even some of them, well, they all did pretty well. So yeah, then after that we had a little training camp in the Peaks district, which we cycled 120 kilometres in one day with 3,000 metres of climbing, and as most of you know, I bonked pretty bad, so don't think I'll be doing that in a while, maybe in the summer, but yeah, that was pretty bad. Just wanted to say thank you to Eden Schiller for organising that, and yeah, it was great to catch up with some of the AU Dev squad, and it was a good few days out there. Cramped a bit on the last hour of that bike, and I think Forbes Jackson would tell you how I was feeling in that last hour, where I thought, you know what, would it be so bad if I just decided to, I don't know, fall over onto this nice piece of grass on the left. That's what I was saying in my brain, and I even told Forbes that, and he was like, yeah, why don't you do that? But I didn't in the end. My mind said, no, don't do that, you'll injure yourself, so just get back. And I did that, so that was good. Later on, I flew back to Lanzarote to see the family and spend some Christmas time with them. And then also I had one more race left, which was 6.5 kilometre run race, and felt great to be running again, and running at like 3:12s per kilometre, which is good. And yeah, I ended up taking the win, and yeah, I was just really happy to take the win, I guess. It feels great to be back running after a few months of not being able to do what I want, but yeah, great to finish the year on a high. Sorry about that, I forgot about the 2 races I did. One was early in the year, which was Bucks Biathlon. I think it was around in March time, so yeah, that went pretty well. Just a 200 metre swim and a 1.5 kilometre run. It was kind of the start of the season, so I didn't expect much really, but really enjoyed it with the Loughborough Triathlon squad. And then moving on to October, which was the Ocean Lava in 2021, where I came second just behind a great mate and training partner, Chamo Diaz, who, well, I'll talk you through the race, where I led out the swim. The swim was slightly shorter, but it was obviously nice to see that the swimming's been working. And then on the bike, we worked together for 44 kilometres, I think it was. So that was pretty good. And it was quite hard, flat course, but very windy. Then moving on to the run, the first lap we stayed together, and then he had I don't know, I guess an extra gear on that last lap, and I think I blew, but all in consideration, it went well. Really happy with the result, came second and took €100 bonus, unless, mind you, it's spent now, obviously. Flights back to the UK, bloody expensive, but anyway. So I guess that was my 2022 season. I just want to thank everyone That's been part of it and helps me through the tough days, especially to my mum and dad and my brother who's been there by my side, even my coach back at Loughborough, my coach back from when I was younger as well. I've been in touch with her, Bella Bayliss, so thank you very much. But yeah, I had a tough year but got through happy, safely and healthy, so thanks for all of you subscribers on there as well. I really appreciate you for tuning in along, and yeah, thank you so much, and hopefully 2023 will be a better year and I'll be doing more content, I guess. Hopefully we can get to 1,000 subscribers at some point, but that's a big ask. At the moment we're on 426. If we can get that to 500, thank you so much. But yeah, at the moment staying in Lanzarote, got a few races coming up in February, the Volcano again. A few other Loughborough triathletes will be coming over, and mention Louis Woodgate, Matt Collins, Marcos Knight, Johnny Jackson, and that'll be a good turnout, I guess, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, cheers for watching the video, and don't forget to like and subscribe as always.